Rome, AD 31. In the streets of the city, the mangled body of a man is being dragged along. This man was, just a few hours earlier, the second most powerful figure in the world, Seianus, prefect of the Praetorian Guard himself. So how did someone who came this close to owning everything lose it all in a single day? Today we examine one of the darkest and most mysterious conspiracy files in history. Evidence 1. The silent heir and the man in the shadows. Our story begins in AD 20. Emperor Tiberius had withdrawn from interfering in the daily life of the people and the court. The stage was left empty, and there was only one candidate to fill that void: Drusus. But behind Drusus stood Seianus, his former mentor, waiting without drawing attention to himself. The first mystery here is this: was Seianus truly a loyal ally, or was he watching Drusus's every step in order to bring about his downfall? According to Tacitus's records, Seianus was no ordinary soldier, but an ambitious chess master whose connections reached deep into the roots of the empire. Evidence 2. The price of a punch and the perfect murder. In AD 22, an incident occurred in the Senate Hall. Drusus punched Seianus in the face. Was this merely a lapse of anger management, or had Drusus sensed the danger? 1 year later, Drusus suddenly died. The record stated natural causes. However, a confession that surfaced years later would reveal what truly happened: poison. Seianus had seduced Drusus's wife, Livilla, and had turned the wife herself into her husband's murderer. This was one of the most cold-blooded political assassinations in history. But the real question is this: was Tiberius truly too blind to see this murder, or was he using Seianus as a tool to clean up this filth? Evidence 3. Letters from Capri and the information embargo. In AD 26, Tiberius shut himself away in his villa on the island of Capri. His only connection to the world was now Seianus. This was an information embargo. Seianus told the emperor only what suited his interests and eliminated his rivals one by one with accusations of treason. Agrippina and her sons, Nero and Drusus Caesar, were exiled as victims of this blackout. Seianus had now become a kingmaker. The great contradiction: why didn't he act on his own? The question that troubles historians the most is this: if Seianus was the sole master of the army and intelligence, why didn't he overthrow Tiberius and seize the throne? The answer is simple but deadly. He was an equestrian, not of noble blood. The people in the army would never have accepted him as emperor. Seianus's plan was more cunning: to infiltrate the imperial family through marriage and become the real power behind a child emperor, a regent. Operation Masterstroke, a work of genius. By AD 31, Seianus's arrogance had brought about his end. Tiberius began a traffic of letters from Capri. One day he praised Seianus, the next he tore him down. He plunged him into total uncertainty. And that final morning, Seianus was summoned to the Temple of Apollo with the news that he would be granted tribunician power, imperial authority. He entered holding the emperor's letter. The senators stood and bowed before him. But as the letter was read aloud, the atmosphere froze. The letter was not a reward, but a death warrant. The unresolved ending. Was Seianus really planning a coup? Tiberius's autobiography claims that Seianus was plotting to kill the children of Germanicus. However, modern detectives, historians, view this claim with suspicion. Seianus's true target was likely not the throne, but the next heir, the young Caligula. Perhaps Seianus realized that Tiberius was preparing to sacrifice him and made one final move to survive. But Tiberius played chess better than he did. The story of Seianus is a cautionary tale showing just how slippery the steps are for those who rise to the very peak of power. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I love you all.